This is by far one of the most challenging tracks you'll ever do in your lifetime. I don't know about this. Oh, dude. That's very deep.
Come on, old girl!
People actually said we were mad for even contemplating going this time of year.
We were told the Drysdale River is not passable.
Sort of shows you what happens in a wet season. This is only 6 months worth of growth through here.
I think we need to find another track.
We need one more big push.
We're on vapors at the moment, mate.
Literally, we are running out of supplies.
This trip has just turned into a battle for the finish.
That was hectic.
But the Kimberley is about to throw one more challenge at us, and it's one we could have never prepared for. Check out these flames. That's definitely coming towards us.
Welcome back to part 3
Oh no.
of our Oombulgurri adventure.
Engine had just turned off.
Right now, we are 12 days into one of the greatest and most challenging low-range adventures in Australia as we attempt to reopen the mighty Oombulgurri track for the season.
After a late wet, the track is pushing us and the rig's to the absolute limit, with huge river crossings, bottomless bog holes, and dense bush, making the track almost impossible to follow.
We're 5 metres in and I've lost the track already. Now, in some of the most remote country you'll find anywhere, and hundreds of k's from help, we've hit a breakage that could spell disaster for the trip.
We're going to have to hope like heck we can fix it, because otherwise we're not going too far. Let's get creative, eh?
All right. After a rough crossing a few k's back, Shaun noticed the engine temps on Sooty skyrocketing.
It's like over the top of hot.
We'd hoped that it was a trapped fan or a leaking pipe. Fair bit going in now, mate. But a closer inspection confirms this problem is a whole lot worse.
Nah, buggered. Thought it might have been just a hole in a hose or something, but it's not. Right near the bottom tank of the radiator, there's a huge gash. It's radiator out, and let's hope for the best. I've got a few bits and pieces that maybe should be able to stem the bleeding, but we'll see. We're already 13 days into our journey along the track with several hundred k's left just to make it out. So whatever solution we come up with, it's got to be a good one. First challenge though is just getting the radiator removed. Unfortunately, 80 series, it's really difficult to get the radiator out. It's always time consuming. It's usually about a 3-hour job. We're getting there though, home stretch, then the fun begins. You can't push it that way out, towards the back. Push it that way, yeah.
In pretty good time, the radiator is out and the damage is clearly visible.
Cut 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, righto. It's pretty obvious why it's leaking. Unfortunately, it's right at the base of the bottom tank here. So I'm going to try and clean up these fins and seal those tubes up. And hope, like goodness, that seals. Let's clean this out, eh? So I've just got a couple of little tricks in my toolkit, and I've got some JB Weld. This is water weld. Beggars can't be choosers at the moment, so we're going to see if this works. You just basically rub, it's a 2-part sort of epoxy, and you just rub it together, and you actually start to feel it get warm, and that's it reacting, then it's ready to basically put down, and we can try and sit and seal that. We've patched it the best of our ability. We've used a whole tube of that water weld gear. Now we wait for it to sort of cure. Fingers crossed it holds, because yeah, it's not the place to do a radiator out here.
After a few hours in the hot Kimberley sun to harden the Chemi Weld, it's time to test the fix with some water and a little pressure.
Okay, I'll tell you when I got a wet hand. But the result is not what we'd hoped for. It's a fair bit of water coming out of there, bro.
The damage to the fins has gone a lot deeper than we expected, and water is leaking out from behind the fix.
The plan is to basically open these fins up and see if we can't get to the back of these tubes, and then try and do the same thing we did on the other side. Fingers crossed we can just get that leaking to a minimum. Unfortunately, I've used up all of the remaining Chemi Weld on the first repair, but I do have something that might just work. It's less than ideal, but it's all I've got. It's a tube of liquid nails.
God damn it, kid, that might just work.
It's oozing down, and I'll do another layer soon. Unfortunately, this glue is going to need at least 12 hours to fully cure, so we've got a long wait ahead of us. I think we've pulled the last trump card out we had. That fix hopefully will work, and the worst bit about this is we're not going to find out till tomorrow morning. We're going to let that liquid nail set. Liam also has a little bottle of
Radiator stop leak, yeah.
So we'll use that tomorrow in a bit of a pinch as well. But fingers crossed, all we can do now is camp beside the track.
Yep. Wait her out.
Maybe go and see what the greater depths of my fridge looks like.
I'm about to do the very same thing. Let's go and crack a brewski. Oh, and Az has got a fire going. The Oombulgurri has once again proved that it's a track not to be messed with. And after an anxious night, it's time to find out whether Sooty is going to get up and running again.
I've got a feeling the glue that I've used is not quite the right glue, but in a pinch, you're going to use anything, right?
What you've got, mate.
So now's the moment of truth. We've got to fill it up, and just fingers crossed we don't have too much of a leak.
Small leak, we can deal with.
Let's just get it in and see what happens.
Yeah, stop talking. Let's get some water in there. I'm anxious. Let me hold your little Dixie cup. There's a very centralised drip coming out of that.
Let's put that stop leak in, I reckon. It's not pissing out.
Oh, look at that stuff.
Ooh, that's a thick, goopy stuff.
It's actually just eggs.
Yeah, it's just lots of egg juice. Let's start it, and it'll get better over the next 15 minutes. Watch out, you might roll forward if you didn't. Good. 7 o'clock on the dot. We'll give it 15 minutes.
This might just be the longest 15 minutes of Shaun's life. But the news, well, it's good.
I've got to say, nothing short of a miracle. It's been 32 minutes since we topped it up with water and started the motor.
Yep.
And I can barely see a drip coming out of that.
No, looks good. I mean, there is a drip but that's nothing. Nothing.
I'll tell you what, tell me an old Land Cruiser that doesn't have a little drip here or there.
Exactly.
A massive thank you to you boys. Firstly, Liam, you pulled rabbit out of a hat on this one, mate. You know, it's always handy bringing an engineer with you when you come out bush, in my opinion. It really does help. But just, like, we're not mechanics, we just get really creative under pressure. I think that's the key. We've got hundreds of Ks to go. I'm not going to get super excited until I'm back in Kununurra having a beer down to the hotel. But for now, there's a big smile and for a good reason. We'll shut the bonnet, boys.
Close this and get out of here.
Let's go. Catch up Barramundi. Let's go. Get in your cars. Go on.
Just like that, our convoy is back on the move. How's she looking?
So far, so good. Ready for third leg of our adventure, mate. I'm ready to go to the Berkeley and beyond. Far out, we've got a lot to see. Right now, we're about 30 Ks from our next big goal, the Berkeley River, with 2 huge crossings to navigate after that, the King George and the final gatekeeper of the track, the infamous Drysdale crossing.
The journey so far has given us and the rigs an absolute thrashing. But we're far from out of the woods yet, with conditions getting even more wet and treacherous as we push northwards.
Soon, we're into some sections of black soil country, and Az is the first to come unstuck.
Oh man, I have just gone down.
Black soil is the kind of stuff that can lull you into a false sense of security, with the first few four-wheel drives usually crossing over it with no dramas before the surface gives away and swallows the next vehicle. The key is to try and get the highest winch angle possible and try and pull the vehicle up and out of the mud. And that's exactly what the boys have done.
Oh, that is just pushing mud.
It's amazing how stuck that vehicle is. Graham and myself both just drove over it. We didn't even know there was a soggy patch there. It's the problem with this sort of country. You find the soggy patch, you go right down. That is insane. As you break that crust, you're gone. Leo's going to have his work cut out.
Liam's opting to try a slightly different line to hopefully find more traction.
Oh!
Close.
You reckon I'll back out of that?
I reckon you will.
Right.
Full tilt. Or you won't. I don't know, actually.
Oh. You said yes.
You're out.
That's...
The boys might be struggling down the back, but things aren't going much better up the front. Following the track is easier said than done after a wet season's worth of growth, and the ground ahead has turned into a muddy mess.
Just going down. bugger. Where is this track? It must just be just slightly up to our left or right. Not down there, that's for sure.
Shaun's done the right thing here and backed off as soon as he felt himself lose traction, and is able to carefully winch out backwards.
I think we need to find another track. This one's not going to happen. Always get real nervous in this sort of country. The grass goes like a greener colour, and also you get this paper bark stuff here. No, they love water.
Finding the wheel ruts of the original track doesn't always mean safer ground, and the country ahead is still pretty sketchy.
There's water down here and there's mud down there. That's a no-go for me. I might have to just try and get higher on the hill.
After a few attempts, we at last find a safe path out of trouble, and the Berkeley River is one step closer.
At last, after another solid day on the track, our destination for the day is just up ahead. The one and only Berkeley. You'd be hard pressed to find a more inaccessible stretch of water anywhere in Australia, and that makes getting here all the more special.
There she is, the Berkeley. Holy heck, I love this place. Bit of water in there too, mate.
Mighty Berkeley River. We finally made it.
Well, I've driven a long way to get to this little body of water, mate. The Berkeley River.
She's an absolute cracker, mate. One of the most picturesque places in Australia.
Yep.
And we've been talking this up to the boys, so it's only fair that we make a bit of a base camp and then we'll take the boys to maybe our secret spot.
Paradise.
I like how you said that.
If there's one fish you got to chase in a place like this, it's saltwater barramundi. A great place to target these elusive fish is where the fresh water meets the salt. And about a kilometre walk down the river is a spot that offers a chance to bag one if you can time the tides right. There's a strong incoming tide off the ocean right now, and sure enough, we're soon getting some bites.
Oh, you little bugger. It's all right. It's all right.
Just mind if I fish near you?
No, I'm here though.
What is that?
Brim.
What's going on?
Oh,
It's a stalemate. He's winning. No. Despite a few close calls, the barra just aren't playing ball today. And soon the tide has come in too far and the fishing dies off.
didn't quite work out for us today, but you know what? That's fishing. Might be a morning thing, so we'll go back, have a bit of a camp, and then hit it first thing in the morning. You never know your luck.
The next tide change is a bit of a brutal one. So after a basic camp and an early night, we're up at 4 a.m. to make the trek back down to the rocks for our second attempt.
We got up super early this morning to have a couple of casts down here. The tide's up, it sort of beat us. We knew the tide wasn't ideal, but we're still got to give it a crack. How amazing is this place, eh? Blows me away.
Sometimes the early bird gets the worm, and other times it's just the most persistent. With the tide coming in a lot earlier than we'd planned, we're trying our luck on the mangroves and rapids upstream. And at last the hard work starts to pay off.
Well, that's the cutest thing you'll see today. Unbelievable. They need to be a little bit bigger than that though. Whee! Yes.
Oh, that's so close. I touched the leader. In game fishing, that counts.
Yeah, they're getting slightly bigger. Not a little basmati. There's a couple in this pool. I just love fishing this area. It's not about the size of the fish you catch, it's just about appreciating your surroundings, and I think we've done that, mate. We've got wet boots, a couple of barra, so we'll get back to the vehicles, and I reckon hit the road. Here we go, crossing the Berkeley. Good luck, mate. It's always a bit daunting jumping into a river without walking it first, but it's not the sort of one you want to walk in, I reckon. Whoa, big hole.
You can't be complacent in rivers like this. Got to have your wits about you. There is definitely saltwater and freshwater crocodiles in here.
Yeah, come on, turn, you big dog.
A few days ago, the D-Max power steering pump let go. So Graham's getting a free daily workout behind the wheel.
Oh, strange noises come out of me when I'm using the steering wheel in here. The Berkeley is one of the widest crossings of the track, but thanks to that crystal clear water, it's not hard to pick a line. Provided you can steer, that is.
Hey Graham, it's a weird spot to park, mate. Don't tell me you're stuck in the creek.
I am stuck like a turtle on a fence post here.
You can't park here.
I'm paying me Berkeley rates, mate.
Needed a couple of big boys.
Need a couple of bunties on the back. Oh, what I wouldn't give for a power steering box right now. The Oombulgurri throws out more challenges, stunning views and rough terrain than many people would see in a year of driving. And there's plenty of mishaps and bush fixes as the day rolls on.
Despite everything, we're making some real progress today, and by late afternoon, we've made it a whopping 35 k's from the Berkeley, which out here makes us basically a race crew. A bit of mud on the track, and it looks like it's quite wet for as long as I can see, so I'm not going to hold back here. I want to give it a crack. Don't stand there.
Hide behind the tree.
I'm back.
That's still pretty close. I'm going to give it a little bit.
Copy that, Captain.
Oh, that was soft.
I want to have a go at that.
Good luck, mate.
Yeah, Graham, you probably heard, mate, but I gave it the everything to get through that, so you might have to, give it a bit of bundy.
Yeah, don't worry, mate. I've got this. I might go in slow, come out fast, because I can't steer.
Faster the better.
Here we go.
Just seen the look on his face when he jumped into that one.
It's time to add a little extra note to this one.
Righto, Az. Give it everything, mate.
Oh!
Whoa.
He's out!
He's out!
Covered the everything.
Liam's been at this end of the convoy a few times in the top end and has some bad experiences in the big 200, so he's a little bit apprehensive.
I had some Cape York PTSD from this puddle, just looking at it.
Yeah! Woo!
All right. You just had to give it noise and get through, and now I'm covered in mud.
That has got more soot than sooty, that thing.
It really does.
That's how you got to drive them sometimes.
Exactly. Oh, jeez, clouds coming back to us.
Wow, wow.
The camera boys give us a demonstration of just what can happen when you don't give it enough herb and find themselves stuck just a few metres into the challenge.
But a quick tug on the snap strap soon gets him out of trouble. Well, sort of.
Here it is. Yeah. So it turns out there is a little puncher, just a tiny little sidewall one. Be able to get a plug in that, I reckon, but when tyres start falling, it can be a big drama.
It's actually getting quite late in the day. It might be time for us to bed down. The sun is setting, it means it's nearly beer o'clock, and as luck would have it, there's a campsite just there. That'll do us. One of the greatest joys of the Oombulgurri is discovering a cracking campsite at the end of a hot Kimberley day. And this one has everything you could ask for. running water nearby, flat open ground, and best of all, a source of firewood right in camp. Our resident high country local makes short work of this one,
That's how you cut a tree.
and soon we've got all the firewood we could ever need. Just got in, just getting the fire going for tonight. You'll notice we've been using a few of these Samba fire lighting products, the fire logs, etc. These ones here are the old Samba fire lighters. What I like about them, well, not so bad here, but if you're in the middle of nowhere and you've got no kindling or no time to get kindling, you cut them up into these lengths, they just break off into these lengths. You can use those instead of kindling. Literally just chuck them down there, they'll get the fire going in seconds flat. Also, they're all natural, so you basically don't get any of that horrible kerosene residue-y kind of smell that comes up off these. So if you're going to cook on the fire tonight, you know, especially if you're going to throw some spuds in the fire or something like that that's coming in close contact with all the ashes and stuff, these things here don't give off any noxious smells or taste, so you can cook on your fire. Just makes life out here so much easier.
Lovely, mate. Living the dream. With that, another glorious day in the top end is in the bag. And after a couple of hard days on the track, it's time to take a load off and soak it all in.
Holy heck. By my calculations, we are night 14 of the trip, and I've kind of been saving this bad boy for about this time, just as a bit of a stomach booster. It's the universally famous Gary Spag Bog, pork belly, 2 different types of mince. We've got onions, chilies, tomatoes. I'm about to add some pasta. Superb stuff. Takes about 3 hours to cook, but that's okay. The boys are having a beer by the fire. Oh man. For us, this is about as good as adventure gets. But what about you? What's your dream trip? Let us know in the comments below.
Melbourne, Graham and I are finally coming back. We're coming down to the National 4x4 and Outdoor Show from the 23rd to the 25th of August. We're bringing the biggest snatch stand you've ever seen with heaps of new gear and lots of show-only bargains. We'll be on the stage twice a day, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, so make sure you come on down, ask some questions and say g'day. There'll be a stack of show-only deals, new product releases, as well as some of the most wild four-wheel drives you've ever seen. In fact, I've seen some of the builds myself, and I can tell you, they're absolutely wild. You've got to get your tickets online before the show, so simply head to 4x4show.com.au and use the promo code 4WheelDrive247 to save some money. I'll see you there.
Early mornings in the Kimberley are truly something special. But getting to places as remote as this, of course, comes with some hurdles. With breakages and track conditions stacking up against us, right now the biggest concern is managing our supplies as we push to the finish.
Now this is the sort of stage of the trip now. Despite preparing as best you can, you start to get really low in your food, your water, your fuel, all the rations that you mainly have. So we're starting to pull together a bit of resources because we're getting to that stage now. The bottom of my fridge is getting scarily empty, mate.
Oh, we're all just chipping in now, aren't we?
Empty. Just have a look at my jerry can situation here. It's getting a bit dire. You're probably thinking, well, didn't you calculate before you come out here? And we did to the nth degree. We calculated that we would have ample amounts of diesel for roughly 2 weeks. Even if we were to drive out of here now, it would still be at least another 2 to 3 days before we could get to a fuel station. I've got no jerrys left. What's in the vehicle is what I've got to get to Drysdale. We've got 5 spare jerrys, but that's for the entire crew. That's for everyone. Shaun has got 40 litres left, and that's it. So yeah, we're at that point of the trip where I'm starting to really count every drop of diesel. I'm scratching my head a bit. Leave me with it.
Rightio, boys. Brekkie is served.
It's not all bad news though. After a couple of days of driving, the repair on Sooty seems to be holding up nicely.
So every morning I've just been making, I guess, a bit of a habit to go over the vehicle, but especially just have a look at how much coolant / water I've got in this radiator. And check this out, yesterday I used about 1 litre and a bit. And today I've checked it, it's absolutely full. I mean, yeah, that's full as well. We have not lost a drop of water yesterday. That's fantastic. For a quick bush fix in the middle of nowhere, this is still holding up, is nothing short of a miracle. I'm so stoked that it hasn't let us down.
The goal today is to make it to the next big landmark of the Oombulgurri and another major river, the King George. But right out of camp, we're back into some tough conditions.
Here we go.
The low-lying sections of the track are still a mess of swampy runoff, and Shaun has to keep the boot in to clear us a path.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that is a soggy mess.
Oh, she's slippery in there, boys. I thought I was getting stuck for sure.
It sounded like it.
The ruts you've left behind. Holy heck.
That was so boggy. Far out. Lucky to make it through.
Righto, let's hope I don't get hung up. I'm going in. Oh, no power steering doesn't help.
Yeah, that doesn't stop me, though. Go.
Come on, old girl.
He's got it.
Oh, dude.
I actually rode the bank and then came back down.
Man, it did really well. I thought you were going to get stuck for sure. She started bogging down, you just kept into it, and there was just mud flying everywhere.
All right, my turn, boys. Come through.
Yeah, come on through, mate.
All right, window up and go.
Sounds good, mate.
That's it. Come on, baby.
Big V8, full noise.
Just sounds glorious, doesn't it?
That's about as good as it gets in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Woo! I'll tell you what, another big V8 coming through. Let's hear this one. This one's even louder.
It is louder.
Righto, Az. You got something to beat, mate.
Oh! Into the ruts.
Yeah, nice drive, Az.
Just gonna hold it.
Woo! How good's that?
You got any firewood left? Firewood is still intact. Most important part.
The water is everywhere as we push our way forwards towards King George, but that means more than just washed out tracks. The real challenge now is just finding our way through the incredible wet season growth.
Sort of shows you what happens in a wet season. This is only 6 months worth of growth through here. Look at that. They're all just these little thin, sappy things here. We'll drive over those, they're not a problem. What we're in here for is to make sure there's no big stumps or showstoppers in here.
So you get up over that.
Oh, steering.
It's pretty wild the places you can take an IFS dual cab if you put your mind to it. But short and sharp little holes like this are a bit of a challenge when you're lower slung.
Forward. Back. Yeah, it's better. Here we go. That's it. Track is now open.
How good's that?
How's that with rock packing? Even in the Kimberley, those rocks just help pick the vehicle up on the smaller tyres, and as you saw, he scraped the rest of it away. We've got a track now.
Boy, there we go. How good's that? Straight through.
After 2 weeks of constant punishment in the bush, the cracks are starting to show on the vehicles, and more little gremlins are popping up as the Ks roll on. The camera car exhaust is rattled completely off its mount. It keeps rattling around, start breaking another mount, and the whole thing will come off. So we're just going to use a bit of fencing wire. I always carry a little bit in the truck. It's actually the second time we've used this exact piece of tyre wire. You see, it was holding up the broken U-bolt on the camera vehicle.
It ain't going anywhere.
Sooty's the next one to have some issues, and while it's not a showstopper, this one is particularly painful.
Squealing a little bit, so I thought I'd just have a quick squiz and see what's going on. And it turns out my idler pulley bearing has completely gone cactus, which means I now have no aircon. Now, it's a bit of a bittersweet moment because this was supposed to be the first top end trip that I've had aircon. But don't get me wrong, I was gutted when I got a hole in the radiator, but I'm devastated to lose aircon. You guys go ahead, leave me.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I live here now. The days are getting cooler. We're down to 37 today. Beautiful, balmy 37. 110 for those guys in the Northern Hemisphere.
It's the little wins.
If there's one thing though that'll end your trip out here, it's running out of tyres. And after hundreds of k's of brutal rocks and spiky tree roots, we've all been burning through our spares. So we're trying a new technique that a lot of you have been asking about in the comments.
It's going to be, yeah,
Something completely different.
a little piece of rubber. We're going to make a patch and try and fix it that way. I've never done it before. The guys in the States actually
Swear by it, eh?
because a lot of those guys actually won't carry a spare tyre, so they run huge big 40-inch tyres and they never carry a spare. Takes a little bit of preparation to get this right. You have to have a really smooth surface. It's going to take an hour to set, so I'm actually going to use Graham's last good tyre, patch this one up, let it set, and at least he'll have a spare then, because at the moment, once you put that other tyre on, he's got 0 spares. Well, far out. Never done this before, and if it works, it'll be pretty crazy. You can actually sort of smooth down those edges so it doesn't catch on anything later down the track, but for now, we'll just store that for an hour. Really keen to see how it works. Can you just do another tyre, please? Look at that, that's amazing. That's formed a real bond already.
When you plan a trip like this, you have to prepare for a lot of things going wrong, but some things can still happen that are entirely beyond your control. And this one is pretty scary.
Hey Graham, you can see what I can see, right? Straight in front of us.
Yes, I can. That is a lot of smoke, mate.
That's a very significant bushfire by the looks of it. I can see it in front of me, but also down to the right.
It's getting thicker and thicker, isn't it?
Yeah, too right. I wouldn't mind getting out of these trees into some open country and actually see what's going on.
That wind currently looks like it's fairly favourable, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. There's a bit of wind sort of behind our back, which would be great, but if that wind changes, we've got to have a plan B, I reckon.
What's your plan B?
Have you seen King of Hammers, where they do that off-road event where they race for something? I'll be racing back to the Berkeley, I reckon, and jumping in the water.
Yeah, copy that. No, in all seriousness, we better have our wits about us up here. Bushfires are all part of the cycle of life in the Kimberley, playing a key role in managing the choking wet season grass and dense undergrowth. But of course, it's pretty dangerous if you get caught in it. And the line of the fires is directly between us and the King George River.
This is pretty wild. I think it's burning away from us. In some places, no, that's definitely coming towards us.
Yeah, it's pretty green though at the moment out here, and that's why they're burning now, because it's not going to get out of control.
Yep. I think we'll be right, be able to skirt sort of around through the fire. You see all that smoke though, gives you
heebie-jeebies.
It really does.
I don't like seeing smoke in the bush.
After a bit of a head scratch, we decide the safest course is to try and push forward to the safety of a river, about 4 k's ahead of us. And that means heading right through the fires.
Right, boys, follow me into the smoke and flames.
It's pretty crazy. Fire is 5 metres away from us.
Check out these flames. Holy dooly. Can't even see the track. Driving through a bushfire. That is so eerie. Look at it.
Yeah, I can't see a thing, mate. Let me know when you're through. Yeah, that's trippy, that is. Wow.
Can feel the heat through the window.
Driving through a bushfire is not something we reckon you should try at home. But in this case, pushing forward to the open ground near a water source is the best option. Just as we start to clear the worst of the flames though, the 200 is in trouble.
Alright, so we are somewhat clear of the fire, but this car is just hanging on. Dash completely dead, everything's turned off. I am stuck in goodness knows what gear, and fingers crossed we can limp it to somewhat safety, far enough away from the flames. Oh no. The engine had just turned off. The engine is off, I've got no steering. Hey guys, my engine has turned off.
It's all hands on deck to get Liam's rig hooked up and on the move. That fire is hot on our heels, so we've got to move quick.
Lucky for us, Liam has broken with a few hundred metres shy of the King George River. We soon find a spot in relative safety to park up for the night and wait out the fires.
Hold up there, tow crew. Just gonna have a look at a camp down here, possible one.
It's a little bit devastating, but yeah, I'll have to get the new alternator straight in and back on the road again, hopefully.
At least you've got one, mate. That's a big plus. On any normal adventure, the King George would be a destination in itself worthy of a whole trip. But right now, we got other fish to fry, as Liam cracks on with the alternator change on the Stedi rig.
So you're going to need one of these, mate. Bloody rip in, hey? I'll get some more tools out.
Now, some of you already know this, but changing a 200 series alternator in the bush is, well, not fun. Let's just put it that way. And the alternator is buried deep in the engine bay with very little access.
While Az and Liam figure out a solution, we're tackling another problem, and that's replenishing our food supplies in the fridge.
Obviously, Liam, we're deep in the spanners by now. I've always got a bit of a theory. Too many cooks spoil the broth, and I don't want to get in the way, and neither did Graham, so we decided to come out here and do what we do best, and that is cast lures into water and usually catch nothing. But today is a bit of a difference, because tonight when I get back to camp, I actually want to cook some barramundi up. Get a bit low on ration, so it really helped to catch a couple, mate.
If you're wondering why we're looking around, it's because this feels as crocky as heck, and where you've just cast, there's a little croc just there.
There's a crocodile.
Right there, so you've just got to be a bit careful out here, folks.
Wow, that's a decent sized one.
It really is, yeah. Back at camp, the boys are busy trying to figure out just how the heck you mess with Land Cruiser engineering.
Definitely think that Toyota engineers designed 200 series alternators to never come out. Never ever.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Our two missions are soon in full swing as the light starts to fade.
Getting to the bolts is one thing.
Getting it is a whole nother
sideways
myth.
or out the bottom or out the top is going to be a mission.
Oh, Jesus, you bastard. There's no denying things have been, well, a little tough as the sun sets on an eerie, smoky Kimberley landscape. But at last, we're having some wins.
One more push. Wait for the next contraction. Hey! Woo! It's a boy! I'm going to name him Bruce.
Well done, mate.
Well done.
It's been one heck of a day, but there's no such thing as a bad Kimberley camp, and we're soon getting set up for another night under the stars.
Over in Liam's corner of the camp, a full factory service is done and dusted, and the new alternator is finally in.
All right, so we're just moving as forward. It's got an electric tailgate. All my stuff is in the back, so I need to jump start, get some charge in this so I can open the tailgate. I can get my swag out now. Yes. Well done, thanks mate. Legend.
What a mission.
After surviving the bushfires and breakages, I reckon we're in need of a good meal. And I've got just the treat for the boys.
Well, I've got to say, after 15 days on the road, this has got to be one of the most amazing tracks you can do. I mean, if adventure is your calling, this track has got absolutely everything. We've had amazing campsite, we've seen some amazing scenery, but best of all, we've had some amazing fishing. Now, the fishing has been a little bit tough at times, there's no doubt about it.
Speaking of tough,
Here's the man himself. But You know, the boys were starting to get a bit worried. We've only got sausages and I think rissoles left.
I've got nothing.
You got nothing?
Nothing.
And we've done a couple of sausage and rissole nights on this trip. There's no doubt about it.
We won't talk about those.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to treat the boys to some barra.
Yep.
And you and I decided today
Today,
to just
slay. The amount of barra we've got tonight, I hope you boys are hungry.
They don't believe us. They don't believe us.
I don't think they believe us at all.
I'll show you. I'll show you. Because, look,
Check this out, boys.
here it is. No, I've managed to... Look at that. That is...
We prepped it, well, no, we prepped it before.
Got to come clean. Don't let the boys hear this one. But we met a good mate of ours, Birchie. He's an absolute legend and also turns out to be a really good hunter and fisho.
Way better than us combined.
Way better than us combined. And this is the most amazing thing because this late in the trip, we are nowhere near done on this trip. We still have the Drysdale, and this is what I'm a bit worried about.
You're worried.
That's why I don't want to use all the fish tonight because no one has come this way in the Drysdale. No one has crossed it. And people actually said we were mad for even contemplating going this time of year.
100%.
Put that there. We're going to make a bit of a beer batter tonight. I thought the old crazy fish and chip night. So this thing has...
What is with that?
It has been hammered, so you can't pop it back out. So
No, you can't.
you can't. So it's really got to work.
Reminds me of something,
What you
but
got?
I won't go
What
into
is
it.
it?
No,
What does that remind you of?
nothing. Go.
You look in the mirror, innit? I'm going to make a fair bit of batter because there's a bit of fish. We'll make a bit of fish tonight.
Salt in now.
Yeah, go a bit of salt. I'm going to go a beer. I've got to sacrifice a beer for
Now,
batter.
hey, can I, for the folks at home, are you a warm beer or a cold beer when you're making beer batter? I'm personally as cold as that beer can get.
I like a cold beer, and I like a non-fruity beer, something like a lager.
A lager,
A
yeah.
4X is actually perfect for a beer batter.
Yep.
Doing a stock take on these, mate.
Yeah, you haven't got many left in there, I noticed that.
Just grab the old stirrer, and
A bit of whisk.
I should have made a well. Always make a well.
Well, we didn't.
So the thing is there's no measurements when it comes to beer batter. And this is the most basic beer batter you ever see in your life. So what we're trying to do here is just get the right ratio.
What did I get the bloody
It's a tough job, that
risky
one.
job?
Because you've got the big wrists, right?
Yeah, but I've been exercising them all for quite some time.
That's it, that's it, that's it. You're really working that up. Crikey, a few days in the bush will do this little bloke. Now, when you get to this stage of a batter,
I love a hero that just swoops in and takes over.
it
Crikey
starts to
Moses.
look good. We're going to need more stirring on here because it's...
Oh, don't give it to me.
I'm going to start cutting the fish. So
Oh, Roger, yep.
all right, so there we go. I'm starting to just...
Max out.
But I'm doing these in like little fingers.
Yeah, like fish fingers.
And so they'll cook better in the batter. There's no doubt about it. I think what we might do is some potatoes, Graham. If you're the back of sort, if you go down that side little thing that
secret potatoes, yep.
secret stash down the back there of potatoes.
Righto.
And there's some potatoes in the can, but on a bit of a hot plate with a bit of oil, you cook those guys whole. Oh my God.
Holy heck. Have a go at this, everyone. Have a go at that.
Okay.
What's going on there?
Don't look in. I said it's my secret stash.
Holy heck.
Oh, don't put them there. They're
They're not even
gross.
the same socks, bro.
They have been around
What
those
is
things.
going on here?
Yeah, they're not in a good state.
Should I
those
even be
things.
touching those? I'm going to have to sanitise myself after I've been in here.
Once you dip those in, you just want to get the excess off. You don't want to make that batter too thick. Oh, straight in.
Holy heck.
So
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's the whole thing, mate. Do it in batches and
Keep that oil hot.
yeah, this is going to be absolutely amazing. That is-
Stunning fish.
That is
It really is.
golden goodness right
my
now.
God.
Whack him in there.
Look at that.
Oh,
Spuds going.
a bit of butter.
Man.
Look at those ships, mate.
Now,
Pinch that little
Have a
bad
taste.
boy there.
look at this, we're just about done as well, fellas. Get yourself some plates. Here we are, day 15 in the scrub, and we are having proper, crispy, beer-battered barramundi from the salt of the Berkeley. So good.
I tell you what, that's amazing.
Dude, that is sensational.
Super crispy.
I don't want to rest on our laurels though, because we need, seriously,
I know.
one
Nothing about to
more
say.
big push. We're only at the King George.
It's not that what I'm worried about. It's
a
a Drysdale, mate. Because
We've heard it's still way up.
Yeah.
And we're still
Everyone at the start of the trip was telling us
we can't do
no
the Drysdale.
chance.
For now, round the fire, couple of brewskis. I reckon we turn one on tonight, boys. I'm feeling a bit frisky.
cheers, lads.
To everyone at home,
To the fire,
live your dreams, eh?
Do it.
To the fire.
Absolutely.
Cheers, guys.
Wow. After all we've been through.
If you've got a remote trip you've been wanting to do with your mates, I'm going to say, just get it done. This has been an experience we'll never forget, but you just wait until you see what's ahead of us tomorrow.
We wake this morning to some welcome news. Yesterday's fires have swept past us and are heading off to the south, meaning the path is clear to push on to the finish. After 16 days on the track and with supplies and fuel getting desperately low, we're counting on a big push today with the aim to make it 80 k's to the final big crossing of the track, the Drysdale River. Once we cross, there's still a long way to go before we can refuel. So this morning, we're sharing out the last of our fuel supplies.
Empty, 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 empty. That's yours, mate.
That's my last bit of fuel.
That's you.
I'll take
Don't
those.
spill a drop, mate. Camera car's going to need a bit, Shaun's going to need a bit, I'm going to need a bit. So 3 vehicles, 5 jerry cans, 200-ish Ks. It's going to be touch and go. I reckon I might have to come in on neutral. Like get a run up, come in on neutral. But I reckon we have got this. We're going to slide into the Drysdale and conk out.
The crossing of the Drysdale has been weighing on our minds from before even day one. There is only 2 ways off the Oombulgurri track, and that's across the Drysdale or head back 400 k's down the track to where we started.
First things first, we've got the King George River to get across.
Drysdale has been on our mind the entire time because when we started out, we were told it would take about 2 weeks to come down to a level acceptable to cross. It's been 15 days now, 16 days by the time we get there. So is that 2 weeks enough? Have we given the Drysdale enough time to be able to cross it? If not, we wait. We don't have much in the way of food. Water won't be a problem because the Drysdale's fresh. But we might be eating grass on the side of the road because literally we are running out of supplies. So I'm kind of anxious. I just want to see it. I want to see what it looks like. Is it crossable? Let's just make a mile, get down there and check out this river. The mighty Drysdale means a lot to us. Let's see what kind of state she's in.
There's been barely a day on this entire trip without some kind of mechanical drama, and today turns out to be no different. The camera car has been working hard on this trip, and now the boys are dealing with a new problem, with the steering badly out of alignment and pretty unresponsive, making it a mission to keep the GU on the track.
Oh, camera car is feeling the pinch.
Starter motor's like gone too on it. The steering has got me most concerned.
Really bad, is it?
I can feel it's real notchy in here. All that slop we think is from the steering box, and it's not something we're going to tackle right now. The guys are just going to have to put up with the vague steering. It's super vague, so they're going to have to take it really, really easy. The other thing, of course, the starter motor is completely cactus. We've got a spare of those, but I suggest we just clutch start it until we can maybe do it at camp or something like that, change it over. They're not a big job on these things.
Wacky races.
The last thing we want is to be attempting a crossing of the Drysdale at night, so the pressure is on to make it to the Drysdale in good time. And after a long day behind the wheel, we arrive at what is without doubt the scariest challenge of the Oombulgurri.
There she is, mate, the mighty Drysdale.
What's it going to be like, mate? Everyone said she's going to be too tall to cross.
I don't know, I'm a little bit far out at the moment, but I can see a lot of water and it's moving. One thing's for certain though, nobody has crossed it this season. There are 0 tracks in front of me. This is one of those crossings that can end a trip or a vehicle, and as we get closer, it's looking even worse than we feared. Oh my goodness, I don't know about this.
That's
nerve-wracking.
Holy.
I think that's the crossing down there.
Wow.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's near these little rock step on your right-hand side.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get out and have a look here.
How are we going to cross that?
It's very deep.
We've known people who have camped at this crossing literally for weeks, waiting for the wet season levels to drop low enough for it to be safe to cross. But for us, that's simply not an option.
That's a lot of water for the Drysdale. I don't think I've seen it this deep. Normally you see a bunch of rocks through here and you see the crossing's quite defined.
Yeah.
At the moment,
There's only two.
there's only two.
The expert's advice that we've been given, mate, is if you can see those rocks.
We don't know if
should be
there's
able to
more
cross.
than 2 rocks though.
Yeah, no, they didn't actually specify how many you're supposed to see.
Yeah, I'll put it this way though. It's the deepest I've ever seen it, and if this was the start of the trip, I don't think I'd be willing to give it a go.
No.
But because we've done it all, we've had
Yeah.
15 days of just treacherous tracks, deep water.
Yep.
I'm going to give this a crack.
Yep.
Throw caution to the wind, mate. I think last time you floated through there, it wasn't this deep.
It was horrible.
I wouldn't say this if you weren't a mate, but
What are you going to say?
would you like to strap on?
I really would. Yeah.
I think maybe we'll get a snatch strap out and
Safety first.
It's starting to get late too. You don't want to muck around here.
No,
If things do go wrong, I suggest you boys get ready to recover us because we'll be right in there. There's a real deep hole.
Just in here. You can see where the water's flat here. That's our deep hole.
Let's do it.
Nervous.
I am too.
Righto, put everything up high, folks.
This is the day it all goes terribly wrong.
Righto, that's me connected. Shauno's connected up there.
Yep.
The plan here is a bit twofold. Primarily, it's to prevent me and the D-Max floating down to the river mouth and ending up out at sea. But also, there's a bit of method in my madness too. If Shauno does get hung up on something, and gets bellied out, I've got a chance of going backwards and essentially snatching him backwards. Let's give it a go. Oh, hang on, important. 4-wheel drive, baby.
All I can say is good luck, boys.
See you on the other side.
So here we go. Seatbelt is off. I've got my window down. It's probably not the best idea, but if I need to bail, that is the plan.
Try and keep that strap just off taut.
Alright, mate, we're committed now.
You're in now, boys. Good luck.
Oh, it's deep. I can tell it's going to be very deep.
Once again, there's just no way to walk this crossing first unless your plan is to become a Croc's dinner.
I'll go second gear. Oh, it's deep. It's deep. It's rocky.
The depth isn't the only concern here. The current is also flowing hard and trying to push us onto those rocks.
Holy balls! That was hectic!
Boys, I've got this.
That was hectic! My heart was in my mouth then. You started to get a bit of sideways on you. I was like, oh no!
Yeah, I felt the back of Soot coming real light, mate. She picked up for a bit there. Oh, wow. Drysdale done. Well done.
With Sooty and the D-Max across safely, it's time for the 200 to take the plunge.
Hey, Liam, you copy, mate?
I do, mate.
Righto, I think you should be fine. You weigh a heck of a lot. You've got big power, big tyres. Yeah, just good luck, mate. Keep that little bow wave going and all the best.
Thanks, mate. Coming through. So before we left town, over 2 weeks ago, we were told this is not passable. The Drysdale River is not passable. So I've been nervous this whole time.
First little one.
There he goes. Pointing upstream a bit. That's nice. Good bow wave. There he goes.
Or over the bonnet.
It's moved a little bit too.
Yeah, it has.
Oh, there's flow on this.
Yeah, that flow rate there is crazy.
Yeah.
He's done it though. He's done it.
Oh!
Oh!
Big old Tokyo drift in the river.
Oh my god!
Hey!
Was I floating? I was turning into that.
Couple of times.
Your back just came right out.
That was freaky.
Well done, mate. Well done. Good stuff, buddy.
Oh man,
That was cool.
crazy.
The
First I've seen a 200 float.
Wow.
very impressive to see.
Lucky and nice and heavy.
Seatbelt off for this one.
Righto, Az, I reckon you got this, mate. Like Liam, nice and heavy, but you'll be surprised at how much flow is in this, especially in the middle, mate.
Yeah, it gives me a lot of confidence seeing you boys get across there. But still, nonetheless, I'm quite nervous, but she'll be right, mate. I'll see you over there.
If you want to see just how dangerous water like this can be when it's flowing hard, just look at how the current picks up the back of the 79.
Oh!
This is where he's peaking right now. Right now.
Wow!
Now, this is where you floated. Just you thought it was over.
Very
Just look at this bow wave. I'm going to be able to surf this thing.
No water in here yet.
Well done.
Hey! I saw you. I felt like I was sliding.
You were.
We saw your eyes about a quarter of the way in.
I was like, oh no!
I thought you were trying to get to the mouse.
And you were so far to the right. I was like, no, Ez, go left.
I was
Go
just
left.
getting pushed.
That was crazy.
Oh man.
That was hectic. The bow wave was beautiful, though.
Nice.
No doubt about it.
Well done, mate.
Well done.
That was wild. Far out.
There's just one more car to make the crossing. But the trusty old camera car storms across, bent steering and all. And with that, we have all made it to the end of the mighty Oombulgurri track. A few weeks ago, we truly thought we might never make it to this spot. And before we make the final run back to civilization, it's only fitting to squeeze in one more night under the Kimberley stars.
I've got to say, Graham, and I don't say this lightly, mate, that was a trip of a lifetime.
What are we at? 16 days or something crazy to do the Oombi? That's, mate, I won't forget this one ever.
Liam, how's it been, mate? This would have to be a very, very different trip to what you're used to, mate.
Mate, trip of a lifetime. I didn't think I'd catch a fish, but I caught my first fish, and yeah, just the endurance of a couple of weeks just trying to get the car to the end of the track.
Yeah, congrats on the first fish, mate. Az, how you going up the back there, mate?
It's been an absolute amazing trip. Just hanging out with you blokes in this amazing location out in the Kimberleys. Absolute bucket list trip. Yeah, can't thank you boys enough. What a crew to do it with.
No, mate, it was an absolute trip of a lifetime. I said that right at the start, and I really honestly believe that. Now, the only thing that makes it a fraction better is when Graham shouts us all a beer and we get back to Drysdale.
On me. 100% on me, boys. We get to Drysdale. Shout yous all a beer.
The journey out to the Drysdale station takes about 4 hours at this time of the year, along the Oombulgurri Road. And let me tell you, this isn't an easy drive, with creeks, washouts, mud and ruts to navigate.
At last, though, with every fuel light flashing and the convoy rolling in on fumes, our final goal of the trip is almost within reach.
How's this? The 80 series only holds 130 litres. I've just put in 125.75, so call it 126 litres. It means I had 4 litres in the bank. Just made it.
The rigs aren't the only thing that are thirsty after 17 days in the scrub. And luckily, it turns out the station has exactly what we're after.
Well, cheers, boys.
Cheers, fellas.
17 days, am I counting correctly?
I think it's 18 to be
18
honest.
days, for crying out loud.
Who knows?
The Oombi track.
Been a while.
Australia's, I reckon, most hardcore four-wheel drive track in Australia, in the sense that you've just got to tackle everything. It's hard on you, it's hard on your vehicle, and yet it goes through some of the most amazing scenery. It's
And to be the first to do it for the year, I mean, that is just always an adventure.
on any track.
And this one has just absolutely taken the cake. For me, I thought I was going to be stuck somewhere on the Oombi for the rest of time because when Sooty did the Radiator, I thought there's no way out of that.
Same.
I don't like big speeches, mate. If we want to go into who caught the biggest barra, we can do that. But I suggest we have a few more beers.
I think we just had a couple more beers. We don't worry about that, folks. Listen, we're at Drysdale Station right now. We're the only ones here at the moment because it really is early in the season, folks. Oombi track, I know it's on your bucket list, but put it right at the top. And if you can, be the first ones to push it through every year because it is, in my humble opinion, the pinnacle of four-wheel drive adventure in Australia.
Oh, cheers to that, mate.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
It's
What a trip, eh?